Hey guys, an exciting day because I have a slot car that I owned when I was a kid, and I'm talking like 1965. This is a Cox slot car that I bought on eBay, and I think it's just arrived. Let's go check it out. Well, look there. There it is. We're going to open this inside, okay? See you there. I ordered this from eBay, and I'm hoping that what's inside is the car that I had back when I was about 10 years old. This car was built from around 1964, 65 to around 1968, 69 by Cox. And these were the best slot cars that you could buy at the time. They had a magnesium chassis, they were 1/24th scale, and the best of everything. And these cars go for, in good shape, about $150 to $250. And then if you buy the kit itself that has never been touched, which they're kind of rare, they can go up $1,500 to $2,000. Here we go. Let's get a blade flying and we'll see what it looks like. So I paid about 80 bucks for this slot car. And I did that mainly because it's all complete. Because once you start buying little parts for it and reproduction parts, these were considered the top of the top slot cars available back then. I remember my dad brought home a couple of these things when a store was closing out of them. So that was probably around 1968, 1969. And I remember we were thrilled because the most of the tracks and most of the slot cars that were being sold at that time were 132, and these were 124, and they are awesome. So let's see if this thing looks at all like it was described. A lot of times these things look like glue bombs, so hopefully we're going to luck out here. These Cox slot cars are the most valuable when they have all original stuff on them. So I'm trying to keep this as original as possible. Ooh, you feel the energy? Well, there we go. It looks good. Looks really good. Has some of the original stuff on it I'll show you. If this is an original windshield, it's pretty amazing. It looks like it might be a really nice reproduction. But those are, about $20 or so to find. It has the original plastics on it. And the good thing is here, we can go in with a tiny little drill and put in these really small little holes. Now, it seems like it was painted and wasn't primed, so this is coming off pretty easily. This was a real car, the Cox Chaparral, and what was interesting is the real car actually had Cox on it because they had a special agreement with the racers and the developers of this car. So I see that we're missing a little character inside. I'm going to buy a third-party one of those. Oddly enough, a lot of these parts have survived for 40, 50 years, still in the blister wrap. They never sold. The slot car market kind of just deflated. It started maybe around 1960, and around 1969 with the landing on the moon, I know a lot of kids, their interests were going a different way. I know mine were. I was very interested in cars until man landed on the moon, and then I was all space stuff. So this is the car. This is a Chaparral, and I believe it's the Chaparral 2. It's one of the early versions. This one looks like a bit of a paint bomb right off, but what attracted me about this car is it looked to be pretty much complete. As I look at this, you can kind of see that this is not the original Revell cross member. This is something else entirely. I'm not sure it would work great. There was an Ackerman device that worked along with the shoe, and as the shoe would turn, the wheels would turn together with it, but this is not it. So we might have to replace that. We can see, now this is the original magnesium frame, and what was kind of cool about that during the 60s is that is what the racers were using. The actual cars were made of magnesium, and they've kind of gone away from that material because it tended to catch on fire. Once the engine caught on fire or some accident occurred, the chassis could catch on fire, and it was an extremely hot fire, and if you sprayed water on it, it made it worse. Cool on the slot car though. I think we're fine here. It was very lightweight, and it's kind of an expensive thing to do. It's die cast, as you can see. This has the original Mabuchi motor that Cox had. Mabuchi came out with these motors in the early 60s, and what was really cool is they were a lot more powerful and lighter than anything else that was on the market. So they had a contract with Cox to make this particular motor in a chrome, the body of it, and then the little bell on the end was in black. So you can tell that's a Cox motor. These were called Sidewinder motors because it was off to the side, and these were really reliable, a really, really good system where a lot of the inline motors would burn through gears pretty quickly, especially if they were stamped metal. This is the original Chaparral wheel made by Cox. You can see it's kind of a wire wheel look, and the proper acorn nuts are there. Very nice. One thing I really liked about this one, it's only been painted once. They must not have used any primer because it's scratching off. And that's going to help us be able to restore this. Very original body. The driver is missing here, but we do have the steering wheel and we have the control panel. The driver I purchased on Electric Dreams. It's a site that has slot car parts. I was able to buy an original for that, so we're going to put that in as soon as we get it. And we're going to make this car better than the original. But it's going to be a shelf queen by this point. It's going to be cool. Well, we're going to leave this segment right there. And the next segment will be the actual work on this 1/24th beautiful classic sports car. Make sure you're here for that. We'll see you then.